Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill
The Bat of Gotham.
I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to the BOF Chronicles, exploring the history of Batman on film. I'm your host, Ryan Lauer, and senior BOF contributor. This is the fifth part of this series, where we're going to be talking about Batman vs. Superman, the road to Batman vs. Superman, the way it played out, and how Batman on film covered it. And I can't do that without the editor-in-chief, the gumbo guru himself, Mr. Bill, Jett Ramey. Bill, welcome to This Is Your Life, Part 5.
I'm gonna come back at you with another "Hey Now." I enjoyed that "Hey Now" where you opened it up. Yeah, we're getting closer to getting caught up. Here we are with BVS, so I'm anxious and interested to discuss.
I am too. I said when we first talked about doing this, and we laid out the blueprint, that this was going to be, I guess, a seven-parter. And so, yeah, after this, we got two more, and our last one will be all about the Batman, and it'll be dropping probably right before the Batman. So, but I said, Bill, I don't want to skip over BVS, and you said, hell no, it's Batman on film. We're going to talk about
exactly, and I think people will. Some people have a false narrative in their mind on how Batman on film covered BVS, and my level of excitement or lack thereof, one or the other, when it comes to it, the build up. So, yeah, I think this is going to put the spotlight on how it really went down during that era of Batman on film.
For sure. And I said to you right before we even started talking that I was excited for this conversation in the sense because we're kind of coming from two different angles of it. Because which you've said on BOF, I've said on BOF, is like, I really like Batman vs. Superman. I understand its criticisms. I understand people like its strengths as well as its weaknesses and everything. And you have a differing opinion, which we're going to talk about. So I really we're going to have a balance here. It's not an overall, it's not going to be a one-sided conversation in either regard. I think it'll be good to hear. So let's just rewind.
Okay.
Back to 2012 where we left off last conversation with Dark Knight Rises. Came out 2012, summer 2012. Then Blu-ray was in winter of 2012. Now we look back, and the tease from Zack Snyder came in Comic-Con 2013, which I think was in July of 2013, where they had the Superman symbol and then the bat symbol came behind it.
Yes.
And I forget, Harry Lennox, I think, came out and read some dialogue from The Dark Knight Returns.
Correct.
But you had a 7-month gap there that we didn't know. Nolan just put a bow on his trilogy. You didn't know the future of it.
No.
Do you remember what you were even thinking of as far as like with the site after we just wrapped this and we have an unknown future with Batman?
Well, I knew that there would be another Batman film at some point. This wasn't 2000, or I'm sorry, it wasn't 1997, where after Batman and Robin we really didn't know if there would be another one. I mean, the comic book genre is so much different.
Yeah.
Now, and even back in 2013 than it was 2012, as it was in the late 90s. So, but my time on Batman on film was covering Man of Steel, which I was super excited for. It was almost a continuation of Nolan stuff, because Chris Nolan was he produced it. He was he co-wrote the story and was involved. And yeah, so that, from the end of Dark Knight Rises up until June of 2013, I was heavily, I covered the Man of Steel like I covered Batman films, and I did the whole 9 yards. I went to the press junket for Man of Steel. I went to the premiere in New York City for Man of Steel. And I've said many times, I borderline love Man of Steel. I think I've said this many times as well. I think the biggest mistake they made, and I say they, not they of this mysterious they we always talk about, they aren't doing, but Warner Brothers was not to make Man of Steel 2, because BVS is not Man of Steel 2. I know some people, you can say, well, it's a sequel, but I'm talking a true Superman film that's, pure Superman, no Batman, no setting up Justice League, Superman. And I think that's where it went off the rails, but we can get into that a little bit later. I think it'll come up naturally after that. But yeah, it was all about Man of Steel. And then they at Comic-Con, like you said, in 2013, July, Batman's coming, and this, we thought would be the sequel to Man of Steel. And so then it was on,
Did you get any kind of hints or let's see, word spread your way, tip-offs that this was coming, or did you find out when everybody found out?
I found out when everybody else found out.
Gotcha.
Found out when everybody else. But it was at that point when I first started hearing about Ben Affleck.
Like right when the announcement came.
Yeah, right after
coming?
that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I first heard that Batman was going to be older, and I heard a few names. I think I did a story mentioning some of them, and some of them some of them were legit.
Was Brolin legit?
Yes.
Okay, because I know that one was. I felt Affleck's. I feel like you did the classic bill of, hey, here's 7 people. Number 4 is Ben Affleck, and then surround it with others.
I did,
but I felt like Brolin got a lot of a lot of attention.
Some of them were like completely. I just threw in there.
Yeah.
For smoke screen, because
sure.
I had a strong feeling it was going to be Affleck from what I heard. So I wasn't shocked by that at all. And I was pumped when he got cast, and that came up.
It was a month later.
A month later. Yeah. In August.
Yeah. So when you knew this, because you'd long said on the website of solo Batman is just your preference.
Mm-hmm.
There's difference between saying it's a preference as opposed to it's the only right way. You said it's your preference. That's just your favorite Batman stories. So when you heard that the two were going to come together in a movie, where was your excitement level for that?
Well, excuse me, coming off of the Dark Knight trilogy, I was perfectly happy with doing something different with Batman on film.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying, hey, I got the Dark Knight trilogy. That's that was my jam. And let's give this a go. And I really liked Man of Steel. And when Affleck came on, and I'd been an Affleck guy, an Affleck Batman guy since the late 90s. When they first, when there was, we know that, when they were Warner Brothers was trying to decide what they're going to do with the Batman film franchise. One of the things that came up was doing a adaptation of Batman Year One.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, Ben Affleck would be really good, as Batman, a young Batman then.
Yeah.
And then once he became the director that he became, I think he was like my guy. I want him to take over for Chris Nolan. And I just always kind of thought Ben Affleck would be a really good Batman,
So this casting, when it was official, was pure celebration on your.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When everyone else was having a meltdown and signing petitions at change.org. I was leading a conga line around celebrating because I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought was, he's going to be in this Superman movie, but this means Ben Affleck's going to write and direct a solo Batman film. And I was like, and that's something I really always wanted for a long time. So yeah, I was all in, man, all in.
I know actors are meant to turn into chameleons and look however the part and stuff. But I mean, the description that had come out, I think when he was cast, was what they were shooting for, an older, weathered Bruce Wayne, which all of this at that point is definitely in contrast with Dark Knight trilogy of it's different than what we just got. So that's good. But I mean, I think even his headshot that was on IMDb, and that was the picture that they used and everything. It was just like, man, just looking at him, that looks like a Bruce Wayne, I think. It just seemed like it fit the part. And then, like you said, the guy had been on a roll with directing, and I mean, even acting too, in his movies that he did. I know because, I mean, there's going to be, I don't know what you want to say. People are unsure. They don't see it yet. So there's of course, the usual reaction, and then there's the hyperbole. But then the train was, I mean, it was off. It was running. So now we knew that Batman and Superman are going to be in the same movie. Yeah. We started to get a little bit more. They were shooting. I don't know if they starting to shoot in 2013 or the next year. But there's a whole new direction with Zack Snyder. Yeah. With what it seems with what he's building. And I think you just kind of gave some of your opinions. But at this point, did you feel like how you just said that they should have made a direct sequel to Man of Steel 2? Were you getting that feeling at this point yet? Or were you just along for the ride of where the story's going? Not as much until after I saw BVS. That's when I really said, okay. Sure. But hey, I was a supporter and a proponent, and I used to say on Batman on Film, banging the drum, that Zack Snyder should be in charge of DC on film. Remember the old Ladkoff thing I came up with? Oh my gosh. Live action DC on film. Oh, resurrect that. Yeah. Hashtag Ladkoff. Yes. Maybe Reeves could be the Ladkoff. Anyways, moving on. Yeah. So let's talk about then, as far as the movie starts filming in production, on scene and everything. What was this? Well, before what it was like, did you have any kind of approach? Because now you're a professional. You've covered Dark Knight trilogy throughout its production. Now you've got a new direction, new crew. I don't know if there was carryover from people that you knew that worked within Warner Brothers Dark Knight trilogy were also part of this here. What was true? Yeah. Did you know how you wanted to cover this movie? I covered it just like I covered the Nolan films, just as much, just as intense, maybe even more, because I mean, by this time, we're doing podcasts on a regular basis on Batman on Film. And I'll say, go back and listen to those podcasts, those pre-BVS podcasts in 2000, from 14, 15 up to the release. I mean, I was stoked, excited, cheerleading almost for it. Did you find it more challenging with the internet? What do I want to say? Like growing? Because you had much more instantaneous leaks, pictures, information. Absolutely. That's 100%. So then how did you filter through? Was that same way? Even more no official spoilers. Release email from you from Warner Brothers. That's how you proceed. No spoilers, no
crappy cell phones, not even crappy because way cell phones have gotten, no cell phone images. I mean, shit, your damn cell phone is like a damn near professional camera now. It's not like the old flip phones back in, when they started, people still had the little flip phones back in with the cameras that were taking
Now
crappy
these
pictures.
ones, the iPhones, they had the iPhones and they had the cameras, and so yeah, the pictures were even better. And put that on the Twitter and all that.
Yeah.
So 2014 was the big year. I think the initial release was 2015, and then they
moved it.
I think May 2015 they moved it to March 2016. But 2014 was the year of shooting everything. How was it, the information coming your way in all regards? Constant?
I think that I think that by this time, people that want to leak stuff don't leak it to me because they just know how I am. And so I did have a source or two for BDS and learned some stuff. Not big time spoilerish things. I mean, I knew about the nightmare sequence way before it was revealed. Never said anything, I think the way it was taught to me then, it was like Bruce Wayne has a dream that there's an army of a Batman army versus a Superman army, something like that, which was pretty much what it was. But yeah, it was the same. I just, but that's, you brought up social media, Twitter. Yeah, there was all kind of stuff. I mean, that's where it's just now it's so easy for people to make these anonymous Twitter accounts and just post shit,
Yeah.
instead of send it to a website, which I don't get, because I mean, number one, you're spoiling the movie, and number two, you're not getting any recognition, so whatever.
Do you remember of anything that had come out during the filming process that either or one or the other, or maybe even both, got you extremely excited or got you really hesitant?
I was excited because I liked everything I was seeing, the stuff, God, there was a lot of video and trailers and teasers released for that film.
Yeah.
And
I'll touch on the trailers here in just a minute. I have some questions.
I was excited for the Ben Affleck Batman. So I was. I liked the suit. I'm an armored suit kind of guy. I like the Pattinson suit is probably my favorite now, because that's just I like the fact that Batman made it,
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it's inspired by Lee Bermejo, which I love Lee's stuff. So, but
did I ever tell you I like Lee Bermejo stuff?
I once.
Okay.
One.
Never again.
So, but yeah, I mean, look, I had going into it.
Sure.
Swear to God, I had no ill will, no hesitation. I was all in. I was excited to see it. Everything was positive on Batman on film. Everything. And if anyone says it wasn't, that's bullshit. They either don't pay attention, they weren't paying attention to the site, or they're straight up lying. So one way or the other. So yeah, I'm all in. Batman on film's all in.
Before we get, because I can't remember, before Comic-Con 2014. So that front half of 2014.
Yeah.
Had it been out that Snyder was drawing from Dark Knight Returns?
I want to say, okay, I was at the Hall H presentation. It must have been, was it
in 2014 you were?
Yeah, when they did the Dark, yeah. With him,
they showed the first
suit.
10. Yeah, that's what I was getting at next. Was
I was there.
We knew before that.
Yes,
that he was heavily taken from Dark Knight Returns for his inspiration of Batman. Okay, because that was definitely.
I maybe expected more Dark Knight Returns. Than was ultimately in it. I also expected a little bit of Kingdom Come
Mhm.
Batman, because I think early on that was also a route they were going to go. I think at one point, Batman had bat drones out in Gotham and stuff like that. And that was, didn't make it to the final script and of course
Yeah.
the film. So, but I just had liked I liked the Batman stuff, and I was wanting, Dark Knight Returns is one of my favorite stories, and I was looking for getting more of that than we ultimately got, I guess.
Sure. Do you remember your first reaction when Snyder released the first image of Affleck in the suit? Where
Yeah.
he's standing next to the Batmobile looking down?
Yeah.
That excited?
Yep.
Looked great.
Yep. Because I like that big bat, Frank Miller looking
Yeah.
logo without the oval. I like that. And I said, yeah, I like it. Like the cowl.
That looked great.
I like the shorter ears, as opposed to what we had got before.
It was different, and just as it was different than what we just seen, but it's still 100% Batman. Which I think that's great. That's kind of like where you hit the nail on the head. My personal only thing that I didn't care is it seemed in all promotional images and stuff of Affleck, if you get a head-on shot with him, it looks like he has no neck.
Yes.
And I thought the straight-on shot always looked weird. The profile from a distance, him in action, I think all that looked great, but just the dead-on, it just seemed really.
I thought the suit
no
was
neck, and I was like,
I mean, as for big as he got, physically in shape for that role. Now, I didn't want him to wear tights like Adam West.
Yeah.
But I don't think they needed to pad the actual suit up as much as they did. They could have been
put in the work. They didn't need to hide it.
They could have made it a little less Michelin Man,
Yeah.
But but the design of it is awesome, and certain profile shots, look great. So, but yeah, I'm with you on that.
So then you're there in Hall H for 2014, where we got the first, I don't know, was it 10, 15 seconds of a tease sort of deal between Batman and Superman in their fight. And he is armored.
Yeah.
Armored Dark Knight Returns Batman.
Straight up. Yeah.
Did you lose your mind with that?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I love that suit. And I never thought of reading in the book that I thought that that's one of my favorite Batman suits of all time or anything like that at all. But it got me very giddy on how well it was adapted to live action and how it looked. What was the vibe at Comic-Con?
Oh, people went they went crazy,
Yeah.
I was lucky to get in because I don't camp out. I don't do any of that. I had got a
how did you? Was that when they were just starting people camping out a day?
No, they've been camping out.
H?
It was like maybe it was 14, probably the second or third year. I remember like in 13, it may be the first time. It could have been because I remember in 13 they had a big panel for Man of Steel, and I walked out. No, take that back. I'm just thinking in 2000 and no, they've probably been camping out a while by that time because I'm thinking like I went for a Superman Returns panel in 2006 and just walked straight in the convention center, straight into Hall H. And I was doing that, the next few years up until, so it was probably, they probably started that camping out stuff. It had just gotten so big, but yeah, I had a pass from Warner Brothers to get in their presentation. So that's how I got in. That's the only way I got in.
Did you get a set invite for this one?
I did not. I went to the press junket.
Okay.
I did not go to the set.
Was that kind of strange that they didn't give you a set invite?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really, because it was Nolan wasn't as involved with this as he was Man of Steel.
Sure.
But I mean, I went to the junket at on the lot at Warner Brothers, and I went to the premiere in New York. So,
okay. Well, then let's hop to 2015, and when they in 2015 alone, they released 3 trailers, and then I believe it was about a month before the movie came out in 2016, they released the final one.
Mhm.
But I think maybe in March they released like a teaser, basically. Comic-Con 2015 was the big 3-minute one, and then December 2015 was pretty much the Doomsday reveal one.
Yeah.
So what were let's describe that wave, that whole year. The first one you watched, the second and the third. What were your feelings as you watched each one?
Still, I was excited, looking forward to it. And I will say that you brought that up, I just thought about this before you even actually mentioned it. The first time I kind of raised an eyebrow was the Doomsday trailer, because
Same.
I'm thinking, okay, number one, why are you showing this? You could have saved this for the film,
Yeah.
you know, because it's obvious that's the big finale, and I didn't think Doomsday looked all that great, to be honest. So, but it was nothing to where I was like, oh, this is going to be shit. This is going to suck. Nothing close.
Yeah.
I just kind of went, kind of could have saved that one, you know, even though we kind of figure what's going to happen here. But that
teaser does we hear the audio as we're slowly zooming on the Superman statue,
Mhm.
and then False God, right? And that was spray painted on the chest. And then we got to see Affleck, his close-up, I think. Did what it was supposed to do in all teasers, of give you kind of like the mood and the vibe. And this felt, yeah, this one's very serious. This one, it seems kind of dark. Knowing this was combining Batman and Superman, did that tone work for you then?
for Batman,
Little
yes.
taste? Okay.
For Batman, again, I'm wanting more of the. I'm hoping that there was going to be more Dark Knight Returns, except just the aesthetic of the suit, and then the fight, the fight, and the fight is not even. The fight in the Dark Knight Returns is for a completely different reason and motivations, than what they got in BVS. But yeah, I didn't know how dark Superman was going to be portrayed in that movie. I'm thinking at the end of Man of Steel, it's that it's just that perfect. It's teed up for welcome to the planet, and
like a triumphant.
Yeah, and we're going to get true Superman. And
Sure.
I kind of justified my apprehension for Superman with thinking, oh, they're going to do classic Superman but I did say, yeah, I kind of get the take of how people would react if this alien god showed up. I get that, and I enjoyed it in Man of Steel, but like at the end, I'm thinking, okay, you gotta just a fun, for lack of a better word, fun classic Superman sequel you can make. I wish we can talk about the film. I wish we had got more of that, really.
Yeah. Well, we'll hop to the film here in just a couple minutes. So yeah, I loved the Comic-Con trailer. I thought it was a real good setter. I'm with you on I felt a little. You just said apprehension. I think that's the best word with the Doomsday trailer, because I felt like it was starting to get now a little too confusing, in the sense of it's called Batman versus Superman, but then at the end they're standing together. And I'm like, that to me alone says, wait, I thought they're supposed. It's already confusing, because I actually had heard in my environment at work that time of, just general audience, not ones like us fully involved in this, and a TV spot had come on for it, and they're like, wait, I thought they were friends. So yeah, you already have that mindset, but then it's called Batman versus Superman. You're showing them, butting heads, and then all of a sudden they're standing next to each other and talking to each other.
Yeah.
And here's this monster. I think the trailer seemed very kind of up and down.
Didn't they give
what is this?
Didn't they give away the Wonder Woman show up as well with?
Not exactly.
Was she with you? I thought she was with you.
Yeah. they took out some like very minor snippets, but mostly it was,
Yeah.
I mean, it ended up being there. But I know that was the first one to me that I was like, I don't know. And then 2 months later, and I feel like I heard you say this too, that Doomsday trailer didn't do enough for Warner Brothers in their confidence that they slapped together this last one, which was it was Batman centric, Batman heavy. And I thought it kicked ass.
Yeah.
But I also thought then of like, whoa, this is awesome. I can't wait to see the movie because there's clearly going to be a lot more. They wouldn't show all of this.
Mm-hmm.
But then we find out in the movie, like most of that fight scene at the end with Batman was in that last trailer, minus a couple of hits and punches. And it was
sure.
That's damn.
Yeah.
I'd have rather seen that in the theater for the first time.
Well, that we'll bring it up because it'll be a natural transition when I talk about going to the press screening, because I get it. I get why they did it at that point, but I'll talk about it then. Yeah.
So, well, I mean, let's jump to that. Since it was in March of 2016, we're up to that point. What was the process of BOF getting invited to? Now, because I got confused with last time we talked, the Dark Knight Returns, of like the LA. You went to LA for?
I went to LA for the press junket, and then New York for the premiere.
Okay, so for BVS, what was it? The press junket or premiere? Or
I did not go to the premiere. I went to the press. No, I did go to I went to the press junket for BVS.
Okay,
I had gone.
And that was how many days before?
A couple weeks. When did the movie come out? What was the date?
I think it was March 25th.
Okay, so it was early March.
Okay.
It was about 2 weeks out.
Okay. And is that the same process of you get an email, Warner Brothers inviting you?
Yes. Same people. Yeah.
For press junkets, I'm gonna lead you here in your question.
Okay.
Before, were you allowed to take your wife to those?
She went with me. She did not go to the screening, but yes, she attended all the stuff with Dark Knight Trilogy, Man of Steel.
So for BVS, she went with you on the trip, but she did not get to watch the movie.
She did not get to watch the movie.
Okay. And was that odd?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what was this press junket like then? Take us through that.
Okay. So it was actually at the interviews and all that were actually at the lot in Warner Brothers in Burbank.
Okay.
The screening was the night before.
Had you been there before?
That was the first time I've been to the studio. It was cool.
Is it really cool?
No.
I'd love to.
Take that back. Went there for Man of Steel. So it's the second time.
Okay.
Second time I'd been. Yeah.
Still cool.
Yes.
Right? Still great.
Still
okay.
Cool. Yes.
Carry on.
So I get there and I go to the screening that night. And so this is like, okay. So when my PR friend who was working that film, who had worked on all the Nolan films, she emails me and says, "Hey, this is no plus ones on this for anybody." And that's when I went, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay. That's odd. So got on a bus and went they took us to a theater. I think it was at what is it? Universal Studios, Universal City. They have a big IMAX set up there. And
was that packed even with all the press junket, or
it was press people only. Press people only. Okay. No one brought anybody.
Okay.
So it was this bunch of people showing up. Now, I guess if you're the local people, local press know each other. So there were people who went together.
Sure.
So we get there and we check in. And this is also the first time this ever happened. Had to sign an NDA. Never had to do that before. And that was another red flag.
Break it down. possibly anybody who's not sure the process of NDA and
Non-disclosure agreement.
what this means.
I could not say anything about the film at all until the review embargo. Nothing on social media, no social media blurbs, nothing. And that was weird because I never had to do that before. And that's when I look back, it's kind of like a Nolan film and everything, when everything comes together and you go, why why so much video, why so much Batman centric stuff? They're just, they're pumping Batman, it's the main draw for this film. And so I watched it. And I can just remember thinking to myself at one point, I'm not liking this movie.
Yeah. How far into the movie you think that was?
Not
Roughly.
long.
It wasn't that long. Okay.
A third of the way in, before half, and got on the bus afterwards, went back to the hotel. That's where announcer Rachel was. And I went, she goes, what do you think? I said, I didn't like it. And I was disappointed, dude.
Yeah.
Disappointed, bummed
I can
out.
imagine.
Yeah, I was bummed out. Really was.
What did she take you across the street to get one of the Miller Lights and cheer you up, or?
Yeah, we went.
You had Miller Light celebrations for the Dark Knight trilogy.
We went and did something. I think we went to Barney's Beanery. That's a place I always like to go if I'm in.
What a name. Barney's
And
Beanery.
It's the original one on West Hollywood. I like to go to. So
could she detect my fiance can't detect my nerd? I get bummed out with something. Could she just detect? I'm like, oh, poor Bill. We got to cheer this fella up.
She was like, real. I mean, she had spent the whole, seeing me and her at the same time, watching these Dark Knight trilogy films, and then Man of Steel as well. That I was all excited for, and this was the first time I ever went, I didn't like it.
Yeah,
I didn't like it. She was like, really? I was like, yeah.
So even with her, I mean, we are 5 years on.
Mhm.
Were you able? Is that where it stopped, or did you vent a little bit more about why you didn't to her, or does the non-DA even still stand firm when the Ramey house?
No, I told her what I didn't like about it, and
yeah,
I look back, I was a little disingenuous on my review, because I wanted to love that film.
Yeah, I think you rated a C or C plus. I think.
Yeah, probably a C plus.
Which was still, it was deflating when I read it. As soon as the embargo lifted and I read it, and I was like, damn, really? The movie's that? I mean, we can get to it. You praised Affleck in his performance for sure.
I thought he was one of his best acting performances to date, period. Still. Look, he's no Bale. He's no Daniel Day-Lewis. He's no Pattinson, quite frankly. And that's not many people are. These are, these are actors who are elite, you know, but he's good. He's a good actor. He's not a chameleon actor. He doesn't transform himself into,
he's one of those that works, that he's kind of Ben Affleck.
Sure.
In everything. Yeah. But that works because I like Ben Affleck. Yeah. But I'm with you
100%.
With what he was given, I think he was, I almost want to say perfect for what they were trying to do with Batman. I think he did it.
His performance was outstanding. Okay. Now, the way Batman is depicted in that movie just didn't jive with me at all. So
didn't work with you.
Didn't work with me. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I'm not going to knock his performance, because I thought it was great.
Yeah. So you see the movie, and so the press junket is the following day.
Next day, yeah.
So walk us through that. What's that like?
I go to the Warner Brothers lot, and there's kind of a staging area, I guess, kind of a hospitality room where you wait for stuff. And it's actually, it was where it's in the sound stage where they were filming Conan O'Brien's show. So
Nice.
yeah. And so they had food and stuff. They had all kind of, this is another weird thing. And they had all these merchandise. I mean, action figures and all kind of shit from the movie and stuff. I mean, a lot of it. And I'm just looking at it going, yeah, that's cool stuff. And there's like freaking journalists there taking that shit. I'm like, what the hell? I never did that, on any of this. And so you wait there, and then we all walked to another sound stage that had been cleared out. And they had the costumes and different props from the movie, and the Batmobile was there, took pictures with that, all that stuff. And then they by this time, and really started with Dark Knight Rises. Instead of doing those round tables I had talked about before, they just had like a big ass press conference. And they'd have, someone would come in and moderate it. Forgot that dude's name that was doing it, did it then. He's on TV all the time. But it was a press conference, and someone would go around. If you had a question, they would get a mic and you could ask. But it was really
controlled.
Yeah. And it was, and I remember being in that hospitality room, and Warner Brothers friend comes up to me and goes, "What'd you think?" And I went, and I'm kind of, sucking air through my teeth, and she just goes, and just look, I mean, really, really?
Yeah.
But I know Warner Brothers knew what was going to happen. They had a heads up what the reaction was going to be, because now it's just everything falling into place. Okay. You're making it look making it very Batman heavy. You're not making it look as dark and kind of trying to, blah, blah, blah. And they knew, and the NDA for us not to be able to say anything, because that's the first screening period.
Had you talked to anybody else in that screening?
Yeah.
At this point,
they
feel the same way.
A lot of people felt like I did afterwards.
Yeah.
And I'll say this going in. Everybody was stoked and wanted to like that movie.
Yeah.
Okay. That to say there was an agenda against it, that's all bullshit. Because I was there. I know the people were excited to see it. People came out. There were people like me. There were people who loved it. I went with someone that I knew. That was Mark Hughes, and I sat with Mark, and he loved it. I didn't like it. It was just completely opposite reactions.
Was there much conversation between you two on the whys, or was it just, I loved it, I didn't, and that was it?
I'm still in denial stage at that time.
Got it. Yeah.
I'm trying to, it's kind of like Batman Returns. When I saw Batman Returns, I didn't like it, and I was upset that I didn't like this Batman movie. And I'm trying to convince myself that I will, or I did. So I'm still in that stage with it.
So how long did it take you then after watching that first screening? Like you said, where you started to look back and everything was lining up of, Batman heavy. Oh, they're really pushing this heavy front loaded release weekend, and was it immediate in your head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, I saw it a second time at this local press screening when I was still living in Houston. And I was like, nah, this ain't this. My reaction was, my reaction was on, and then, that's kind of, it didn't resonate with folks. I mean, overall, I'm not talking about individually, because like you dig it. So cool. But I think overall, it just did not resonate with people, and it got bad reviews. And, it didn't have, that film should have been $1 billion film. The first live action movie with Superman and Batman in it together.
Yeah.
That's a no brainer. you know. So yeah, I mean, making what 800, they make about 800 million, I think,
Was it 870?
something like
I think
that.
like 870
I mean,
worldwide.
that's
Of course, and I know the defense of that will come of like, why does the movie have to make $1 billion just to be seen as profitable and all that? And I mean,
I'm
much smarter
yeah.
people than me can break down the money of its budget and how much it had to clear to make a bunch. But I mean, if you just kind of think about it at that point, even 4 years prior, The Dark Knight Rises crossed $1 billion. 4 years before that, The Dark Knight crossed $1 billion. So you've got this one hero himself crossing the $1 billion mark. Well, shit, this is Batman and Superman for the first time together in a movie.
And Wonder Woman.
Oh, and we know Wonder Woman's coming in it too.
Yeah.
It just kind of feels like it's surely bare minimum clear that massive hurdle.
Yeah.
And it didn't even reach that.
Oh, I'm with you on, a film shouldn't be judged on how good it is by the making $1 billion, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But I mean, just the data we have gotten, it was reviewed poorly. It was, the cinema scores and the Metacritics was, mixed to poor audience response. Just non-Batman, non-comic book people saying that movie kind of sucked,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the reaction is from Warner Brothers is immediate of them all, because you got to remember now they're fixing to start shooting Justice League in about a week or two.
Yeah.
When I'm at this junket, they're about to start shooting. This is March, and it was June. Was that 2 months later or 3 months later is when they did that big ass PR press visit over in the UK for Justice League and show, look how it's going to be. We're going to lighten this up and it's going to be more fun. And it's, we're going that direction now. So that's what I'm saying. Warner Brothers knew what the reaction was going to be.
And I think our history of how people act online and everything, I mean, it's only proven that point of how divisive the movie has become, and everything of it. Just, it is fuel, like it's the sparks to ignite this big fire, this big argumentative mess, and I don't think that is that's a green check mark. Like that, I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing. So how do you, you're sitting on this as you sign that NDA, the embargo's lifting, you're dropping your review.
Yeah.
Are you just full on thinking in your head of being 100% purely honest, because that's what you do for BOF in your review, and ready for people to start poking and asking questions of like, what the hell? What are you talking about? How is this not good?
I think my review reflects the torn state I was in, because I was extremely disappointed that I didn't like it. I was extremely disappointed I didn't love it. And when I'm writing it, I'm still trying to convince myself that I didn't dislike it as much as I was disliking it when I'm watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for you to say that when you read it, you kind of went, oh shit, at least tells me that some of that true feeling got out a little bit, a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Bill.
Yeah.
No, I mean, in regards though, I mean, because of just really quick on my end. So I don't know. I went to a Thursday midnight screening. I don't know when the review dropped. Tuesday,
probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's
all the reviews started coming, and I just saw it was tanked. And reading yours and everything, that it got me really bummed out.
Yeah,
because I'm like, well, shit, I was excited for this. This is freaking Batman.
Yeah.
That when I went to watch the movie, I was waiting for the train wreck. to me, I never got a train wreck.
Mhm.
So then I came out like, I think I really like that. So maybe it helped set my expectations.
Yeah.
And not saying, I'm not trying to, like expect the movie to be awful. It's just been poorly reviewed by people that I seek out and read their opinions. And I've, trusted your opinion a lot in reading reviews on stuff. And so I don't know how it worked for me, but it did. But it's like, it comes with an asterisk next to it.
Mhm.
I kind of felt, okay, I liked it, but it just doesn't, I like what I like, period.
Mhm.
But for the character of Batman, this isn't good for majority to not really care for this.
Mhm.
Because then how do you rebound from that?
Mhm.
So you saw it twice. It confirmed your feelings on the movie and you wrote your review. So you saw that big weekend, which I distinctly remember. So weird, the things that you remember, that you posted an old like 50s picture of a conga line. And you said Warner Brothers is doing a conga line because it had a massive opening weekend worldwide.
Yeah.
But then the concerning part came the following weekend when it tanked.
It dropped big time.
Massive.
Yeah.
100 and I think it just domestic was like 168 or something like that. That's opening weekend. And then it was like 52 the next, which was like one of the biggest dips since tracking or something like that, which just to show the angle, how you put it too, of like people were interested and then they were like, I don't need to see that again.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's why it should have been $1 billion film. People went opening weekend because it's Batman and freaking Superman.
Yep.
I mean, arguably the two most iconic superheroes in history,
Yeah.
And they're on film in a live action movie together for the first time. And so the opening weekend is huge. And then it just goes, it wasn't the freaking reviews. People went to see the movie. They came out and didn't like it and told people that movie sucked. It had no legs. So you can't, bullshit. Don't look. Venom gets shit reviews, but the movies do well because people like them. Okay. It doesn't matter
people
what
had fun watching it or something. Yeah. And I think, as you said, that opening weekend was proof of people were interested.
Yes.
$420 million over 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's big.
Yeah.
But that ended up being half of its.
Hell, I had a watch party for it,
Yeah. Oh, that had to be tough.
Yeah.
Did you get hammered before you even made it to the movie?
Yeah. And during,
and during.
Yes. Because I'm still, trying to pump a little sunshine up my own ass.
Yeah. Let's make it a little positive as we start to get ready to close it. What was a part instantly when you saw it in the movie?
Yeah.
If there's one, that you loved instantly when you saw in the movie, and that hasn't changed. But if there is anything that you loved and something that you liked instantly and that hasn't changed.
The Bruce Wayne running into the Metropolis destruction with the Zod, the Zod and Superman fight. That.
Sure.
I mean, that's right off the bat. No pun intended.
But I'm cha.
Yeah.
Good moment. Great moment. Well, then we said our next discussion will be about the road to Justice League, which was only a year and a half from that point. So what do you remember as being because I asked this after every movie that we've talked about, what's your approach now? What's your angle with Batman on film? What are you trying to do? I'll leave it at the first part. What's your approach on Batman on film now that a Batman has come out first time since you've started to run the website? It's a Batman movie that you didn't like. So what are you doing now?
I am hoping that by this time, Ben Affleck is actively saying, and they've already announced that there's going to be a solo Batman film with him directing and writing it. So that's where my hopes went to. To be honest, I was I just really was almost dismissing Justice League by that time, you know, after BVS. And but that's really when that's right then. I mean, I'm talking right then, once that, especially when that June hit with that PR fluff piece.
Yeah.
That was orchestrated. That's when the drama really started over that film. And just, you know, I had fun covering Batman v Superman. The whole time between Man of Steel and from, you know, that period after The Dark Knight Rises, I enjoyed covering it. I mean, it was fun. I had fun. I wish I had liked the film. I wish the film had been better for me. I wish it had been better for audiences in general.
Sure.
And to where it would have been better accepted. And that's no knock on anybody who, you know, who loves it or likes it. It's not, you know, that's not. But I will say, as a kind of a little bit of a tease for the next one, the Justice League show, is that I've never had as much not fun. Is that almost a
Sure.
double negative?
Double negative.
Yeah.
Does not equal a positive here.
Yes, it does not. No. Covering a film with Batman in it than it was covering that Justice League 17 movie. Period.
You've opened up a little to us Bat Boys on some of this, so it'll be a good conversation to again be kind of like here's the whole story, you know, or as much as we know. I mean, we couldn't cover the whole story of that in a 3-hour podcast.
I mean, look,
I don't think so.
Look, I'm still trying, not now, but the months after that, I'm still trying to like this movie. I get the Blu-ray from Warner Brothers to review. I'm trying to like it. The extended cut comes out. Well, that for me, it made me hate it more. I didn't like the extended cut. It was just more of the same bullshit, you know, for me. Now, you dug it? Cool. I've never knocked anybody who liked BVS or liked any of that.
You're setting me up for March. We're gonna have a fisticuffs because I like BVS and you don't. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it's all is.
it's just just that to go from that much excitement to like, it was like falling off a freaking cliff, man.
Yeah.
When I saw it, and it bummed me out hard because it was a Batman movie, you know?
Yeah.
Batman v Superman. Batman's the main freaking character in that movie. You know?
Yeah.
Another problem I have is Superman's got about 35 lines and he moves around the whole son of a bitch. So I like Superman.
Get you on a tangent.
I like Superman. I like him being Superman, doing Superman things.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not gonna get on a tangent, I promise.
Yep. That's okay. Put a pin on it there. You teased us for the next round, the Justice League saga. As expected, I think this is a great conversation. You always say enjoy the ride, and you did. So it was just the end of the ride wasn't that much fun, but that's okay because the journey was fun.
Yes,
and it was good for Batman on film.
Yes.
Exciting because a new Batman movie was coming. We were getting teased with all sorts of new content and everything. So it was up until March, whatever. It was a really fun time to be a Batman fan.
It was like taking a road trip to a vacation that you've wanted to go on for a long time, and you were just excited as hell, and you get to the vacation spot. It's like the movie Vacation when they get to Wally World.
I was just gonna say they get to Wally World.
And exactly. There's
no John Candy there though.
And exactly. There was no John Candy for me to let me in. Yeah, exactly.
That's a bummer, but that's okay. Closing that chapter of BVS.
Yes.
We'll close the chapter on this episode. So Bill, again, thanks for coming to be a part of your own show.
Thanks for doing these. It gets, recording.
It's fun to reminisce.
This history.
It's fun to hear the firsthand experience of these. I'll never be invited to a press junket. What's this like? What's it, and all of that. And I like hearing all that. And so does everyone else. So it's always a pointless question, but I'll ask it anyway. If people don't know where to find you, where can they find you, Bill?
Twitter at Batman on Film. Just news links, just our stories, things you do, things I do, things other boys do, at the Batman on Film. And then Instagram's at Batman on Film as well. And of course, you find me at batman-on-film.com. So
all right,
I'm there.
There he is.
Been there for 24 years coming up, man.
Woo, buddy. And then you plug, because I can't, because it's your deal, the Batman on Film watch party.
Well, you're going to be there. It says in the description, come hang out with members of Team BOF. Your Team BOF. So yes,
that's right.
That will be on March the 5th, 2022, in Plano, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas, a very large suburb of Dallas, north. And it is at the Cinemark. What do they call that one? It's a Cinemark XP West Plano. And anyway, there's a whole web. If you go to Batman on Film on the main page, there's a link for it. And there's a whole page for it. So, yeah. I mean, I was writing down some, trying to get a gauge of numbers of just people I know are coming. And I got like 30 something people confirmed, basically.
All right.
Yeah.
Hope we can all get a ticket to the movie.
First. Yeah. I mean, this is the first solo Batman film we've done a watch party for since Dark Knight Rises. And this is Batman on Film's wheelhouse, solo Batman. And right now getting that hype train for the Batman, man, it is that trailer. What do you think? That trailer was something else, wasn't it? This last one?
I don't say it much, but goddamn.
Yeah.
And that's with an exclamation and a big smiley face following.
The only thing that upset
son
me,
of a bitch, that was awesome.
The only thing I'm still upset about with the Batman is Robert Pattinson not working out. Just had that little dumbbell and a BOSU ball.
They had the audacity to CG those abs on him.
Oh my
he
God.
had his shirt off.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
Money in the budget just down the trash.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
You know what? Just in all reality, that you got to think a little bit. That was almost a Pattinson troll. It's almost something, because, he is a world-class troll and it's awesome. It's almost like Pattinson said, hey, put a shot of me in there without a shirt on. Just to get the reaction of these people that were saying that rage that he's playing Batman. He could at least take the role seriously and work out. One dumbbell and a BOSU ball. What the hell?
God, ridiculous. Oh boy. All right. Well, hey, you can follow all of my reviews and gotta plug the interview with Lieber Mayo, interviews that Bill and I did with Long Halloween Parts 1 and 2 writer Tim Sheridan, all that on Batman on Film. You can follow me on Twitter at Lauer_Ryan, Lauer spelled like lore. And if you'd like to listen to my podcast, the Batman Book Club, you can do that follow it on Twitter at the Batman BC, and you can find that show wherever you listen to podcasts. And Bill even posts those on Batman on Film proper when new ones drop. Pending when this BOF Chronicles is dropped, there should be a new one with me and BOF's own Peter R. Vera talking doing our monthly wrap up of the Batman comics. So look out for that. And so Bill's going to help me out here, but for Bill Ramey, I am Ryan Lauer. Batman on Film, authoritative, definitive,
the dadgum original.
You've been listening to the BOF Chronicles, the official history of Batman on Film. Follow host Ryan Lauer on Twitter at Lauer_Ryan. Follow Jett on Twitter at Batman on Film. For all of Team BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original. Batman on Film.